What's up, everybody? Happy Saturday. In this video, we're going to be going over the markets. We're going to be going over some economic data. We're going to be going over some recent news, and we're going to be taking a look at the week ahead in the stock market. So, first up on the agenda, we have to talk about it. Trump is imposing tariffs on goods from Canada, Mexico, and China on Saturday, today, placing pressure on three top U.S. trade partners while risking price increases for essential products like gasoline and groceries. So he's expected to slap a 25% tariff on all products from Canada and Mexico, as well as a 10% tariff, which is way lower than what was originally forecasted out of China on China. So, you know, we can just talk about it real quick. The tariffs, they are, I don't know. We're just gonna have to see. We're just gonna have to see what happens. I don't, I don't think it's as easy as, oh, we have tariffs on these countries. Inflation's gonna run out of control again. Oh, we have inflation, or oh, we have tariffs on these countries. Inflation is not going to run out of control. We're kind of in this middle ground, everybody. I mean, it's a wait and see type event. I've seen on socials everybody saying, they're going to make everything go higher, and they're gonna cause reinflation, and I've seen the opposite of that as well. People saying that they're not going to do anything, and they're just being used as a bargaining chip against these other countries. So I can see both sides. I'm really going to just react to the markets and see what they're telling us, and just continue to play my book and my trading strategy, and not worry about things that I can't control. Not make moves upon tariffs or not having tariffs, right? So that's my take on it, guys. Um, I just think let's just control what we can control, and focus on the markets, and getting into good trades, and making some money. So that's my take. So first up, we're gonna look at the QQQ. Actually, before that, we're gonna get into the economic calendar for this week. So we got some pretty okay news. The biggest news is definitely the jolts, the job openings, and then the non-farm payrolls, unemployment rate, and Michigan consumer sentiment. Oh, and inflation year over year. That's for China. Sorry. So yeah. So Michigan consumer sentiment, unemployment rate. This upcoming Friday, jolts job openings on Tuesday. Those are probably your biggest two events this week to be mindful of. Just so you know. So it's going to be Tuesday at 10 a.m. for jolts, and then Friday at 8:30 and 10 a.m. for non-farm payrolls, unemployment, and then Michigan consumer sentiment. Nothing else really to be said about that in the economic calendar. It is what it is. It's not like a huge week for news. I would say the biggest news is going to come Friday. Um, and again, even with this news as well, I don't believe you should be just sitting there over analyzing and everything. The market's going to do what the market's going to do, and you can't do anything about it. So there's a difference between getting in and out of trades because of the setups and your strategies, and then there's a difference in the markets, and seeing one number maybe come in a little hot, come in a little cool, come in line, and then you're sitting there and you're making all these moves because of this one number, when there's consistent economic data every single day pretty much. So again, my take on it. So let's look at the QQQ. The QQQ, it honestly looks good to me. Everything is looking good. We are sitting here on a weekly chart. We are sitting a little bit lower in our Williams consolidation box. We are not back in our Williams consolidation box yet, but we are recovering from this massive volatility spike down due to deep fake. I know it's called deep seek, but I call it deep fake. So with the Williams consolidation box, you build this box, you go sideways within it, and essentially as you go sideways, we continue higher. Well, that's great, and it's a good indicator for a trend. But when you have this just massive volatility that we're in right now, and things are going up and down, 3, 5, 7%, in a day or in a week or whatever, it's gonna become pretty difficult. But here's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing that we had this beautiful ascending triangle pattern, which we have not reached the measured move up to 580 yet, and we're still above that. We also have now formed this bull flag, as you can see here, and we dipped down in, and now we have broken back out. So essentially we broke out, and then we had a deep retest down here to the smoothing line, and then we snapped back through up here to the high side, and we are back above this bull flag, which has a measured move up to about $560. So we have two measured moves on our plate, 560 and 580. I do think they'll be realized. We are about to flip green on the high five indicator. We are still red, but we're about to flip green, and you see that happens when we get pullbacks. It takes a little bit, right? And then we finally flip to green once we actually get a direction. So, last thing I'll say about the Williams percentage range in the Williams consolidation box, we broke down out of it. We made a lower high, which is a downtrend. And then we came down here, we bottomed out. And now, after this last week, we've rebounded and now we've made a higher low. So we were in this downtrend, and now we broke out of that downtrend, and now we are getting back into an uptrend to a higher low. And I believe that we will continue up here and then get back into our Williams consolidation box. That's how I see it playing out, with along with a flip to back to green on the high five indicator. We have plenty of volume. The average volume is this little yellow bar right here. And you can see that we have been above that pretty consistently now for, you know, 3 weeks. 2 of the 3 weeks we've been up above that bar. So everything's looking good on the QQQ. That's on the weekly. If we zoom out a little bit more, we can really see that things are looking really, really good for the overall markets. For the overall markets, we can see that we're in this consistent uptrend, and we broke out of this cup and handle pattern dating back to beginning of 2023. We've been in this consistent uptrend, as you see. And during that uptrend, you see up here, we formed our Williams consolidation box. And in that box, we've just been going sideways like a crazy person in a room. And as we've been going sideways, staying in this Williams consolidation box, which is a bullish indicator, that I personally created as a strategy, will continue higher and higher and higher. Not without pullbacks, not without little setbacks, but in the end, as long as we stay in this box and continue sideways inside the Williams consolidation box, we will continue higher, which is so important for understanding the overall trend. So this is why I really like to look at the monthly, because on the weekly, you get these, and that'll show you obviously your pullbacks we break out of that, show you pullbacks. But on the monthly, that'll really show you the overall trend of the market and how it's going to continue higher by just staying in the Williams consolidation box. So next up, we're going to look at the SPY, and it's going to be pretty much the same thing here. We actually have a falling wedge pattern on the SPY. We did not dip down through the falling wedge. We actually came back and perfectly retested this breakout area. So we broke out, we came back, we retested here, and then we bounced higher. We were on our way back to all-time highs, but then the tariff news came out, and it kind of shook the market a little bit. But I believe that the little shaking of the market here yesterday on Friday will get easily you know, digested over the weekend. And as long as nothing else crazy happens, I think we'll be back on the up and up. Lots of good earnings coming out, lots of good earnings that have already been had for the week. So I'm not really concerned at all. And we'll get into the earnings for this week in a little bit here too. So yeah, just another one, the high five indicator, I believe, is about to flip green. And this one's actually is back in the Williams consolidation box on the weekly. And then the measured move is up to 629. And my personal profit target for this year is 650 on the SPY. So, and then on the monthly, you can obviously see it here as well. We've been in this consistent uptrend for a while now. and we've just continued to stay in the Williams consolidation box, continue to stay green on the high five indicator, and we have gone up and up and up consistently. Not without pullbacks, but every pullback to this point during this uptrend has been a massive buying opportunity. So, finally, we're going to talk about the IWM before we get into some earnings and maybe talk a little bit about, yields and stuff. The IWM came down, bottomed out, started to form a bearish Williams consolidation box after being in a bullish Williams consolidation box. But ever since then, we are now back on the up and up, and we've made a higher low. We came down, bottomed out, and now we are making a higher low. And I believe we will continue higher as we also have broken out of this falling wedge pattern, retested, and now I believe we will continue higher. And we again are at the bottom of this channel, of this uptrend channel since 2023. So we do have a lot of room to run with also sitting on this massive cup and handle pattern you can see here. So we have this massive cup and handle pattern that's formed, a multi-year cup and handle pattern. And now we have broken out of the cup and handle pattern. And now we're coming back and we are sitting on this retest area, and our measured moves for this is up to $306. For the falling wedge, it's $259. So we have a lot of room to run on the IWM, and we have a lot of catching up to do from the IWM to the SPY and QQQ. That's how I'm seeing it. On the monthly, this one looks not as good as the rest, just because it did break down out of this Williams consolidation box, but you see we are getting right back into that Williams consolidation box. And so if this holds and we do get back into this Williams consolidation box, then we can essentially go like this and say this is new support for our Williams consolidation box. So that is everything I'm seeing on the QQQ, SPY, and IWM. If we look down here at the VIX, the VIX has been over the last few weeks been really crazy. Obviously, you had back here, this was the Fed nuke. This was a was it inflation scare? No, some number came out with economic number, and that caused us to spike back up. But as you can see, we formed this bear flag, and then we broke down, we retested, consolidated, and then we flew down, right? But then last this past Monday, we had the deep fake scare. So just three just consistent like events in a row that have caused these massive spikes where it's just been very, very volatile these last couple weeks. So I don't think that'll continue. I think we'll get in a better place. There's definitely going to be continued volatility with Trump at the helm, like there was back in 2016 to 2020. But I believe that things will settle down as he settles in as president. And yeah, I'm not overly worried. I think it'll create a lot more opportunities than damning issues. Um, the dollar is actually forming this beautiful head and shoulders, as you can see here. And if we break out down here, we will be flattening out and getting crushed out on the dollar, which Trump does want a weak dollar. So this is actually looking pretty good. And then if we go down here, gold is gold, US dollar is doing good. If we go to here to the 2-year, the 2-year is kind of in this consolidation period. And where it goes next, that will be very key. We really want this thing to roll over and come screaming down, in my opinion. We don't want to see it come up here and go to not new all-time highs, but we don't want it to go up here and just continue higher, in my opinion. We do have this nice little double top going on for us. So if we can break down here under 4%, 4.10% or so, I think we will be looking good to continue lower. But as of right now, we're kind of just going sideways because there's been a lot of volatility and been a lot of craziness in the markets. Here on the 10-year, similar thing. We have this double top going on, and we could see this roll over and continue down. The 20-year is similar, just a little bit higher, but yeah, basically a double top situation here, and could roll over and continue lower. So that's what I'm seeing on the markets. And yeah, let's get into the earnings. So we got the earnings pulled up here, everybody. Monday morning. Not really looking at anything here personally. Monday after the close of the bell, Palantir is going to report. I'll just be completely honest with Palantir. Um, Expectations are sky high, ladies and gentlemen, sky high. And I will just tell you this: if they don't come in and just completely blow out expectations, like even crazier than normal expectations, they're going to have a big pullback. If they come in at like 20 some percent revenue growth, they're going to crash 10, 20 plus percent. I'm telling you that now. If they come in at only 20 some percent revenue growth, they're going to crash 10% plus. I'm telling you that right now. They need to be north of 30% to like kind of maybe only come back up, get pulled back a little bit, or to stay like to 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 not really to basically say, neutral or something, but they really want to be at like mid 30s to 40% plus revenue growth. That's what they really need to be at. Their valuation is sky high right now, and the numbers are not lining up. I know the future growth is there. I know the story's great. I know that. I know that. But we have to look at the numbers, and I'm just telling you how I believe this stock's going to react. It is not worth going into earnings and playing this name. It is not. The risk is way higher than the reward. I'm just telling you that right now. So, Tuesday morning, we have PayPal, Spotify, and those are the two real names that I'm really focused on right now. PayPal is still a turnaround story. I mean, turnaround, they just need to get back to better revenue growth and start expanding and getting more users using their platform. So if they can get back to double digit revenue growth in PayPal, then I really think this stock can really fly above $100 per share. But I think they're still going to take a little bit of time to do that. They're still just turning the ship, and they recently had the big issue with the Honey app or whatever it was called with the I don't know what it was. It's a big mess, big mess with money, and I think they're getting sued for um I don't know, it's a big mess with that app. They're doing some shady stuff with it. So I don't know. But next up is Spotify Tuesday morning, and yeah, that name is also very expensive, but they're just killing it all fronts, and they're really eating Apple Music's lunch consistently here. So I don't really know too much more about that name. I use them, but as far as like investing or trading, I don't know. Um, AMD Tuesday after the bell, Google Tuesday after the bell, Snap, Chipotle, um, Enphase debacle. A lot of big names reporting Tuesday after the bell. I think Google is going to have a really good earnings and probably have a big move afterwards. AMD's been consistently like just meeting expectations, so I don't have any expectations for them to do anything higher than that until they prove otherwise, which I think AMD is more of a future play the next couple years. Um, Chipotle, I think, is going to tank most likely because there's just been a lot of craziness and a lot of hiccups in their business model and people boycotting them and everything this last quarter. So I could see them have a weak quarter. And then Snapchat doesn't really interest me. Wednesday before the bell, we have Uber, Disney, Novo Nordisk, and yeah, I think Disney's going to continue to turn this ship around, continue to do well. I think they'll come in and beat. They'll have a good earnings and they'll continue upward. I think Uber, they're going to come in and report good earnings. I think they're very undervalued at this time, and I believe when Uber comes in and reports earnings, people are going to realize like, oh yeah, this company's printing free cash flow like crazy, and they yeah, I can't believe they're at this price right now. And then they're going to get bought up probably to the tune of 5% plus, and then a continued upward trajectory from there, in my opinion, on Uber. After the bell Wednesday, we got Ford, Qualcomm, ARM. So this is going to be really big. Wednesday is going to be huge. Wins is going to be huge for these two names right here, Qualcomm and ARM, and that's really going to continue to set the pace of the semiconductor arena. If Qualcomm and ARM come in and report really well, good earnings, good revenue growth, no issues, no problems in sight, then I believe the semiconductor sector will continue higher. If these companies come in and report poorly, then I do believe there could be some more weakness in the semiconductor space. Um, Last thing I want to say about that, I believe Qualcomm's a great buy at this price at these prices. I believe they're very undervalued. Um, you just don't know about earnings and what's going to happen there. They've reported good earnings and they've tanked, and I believe this name's been held back because of the Intel acquisition news. But I believe they are no longer going to be doing that, and they will get past that. And once they're fully past that, then we're going to see them continue higher because they do have a lot of great chips and a lot of great products and multiple sectors. ARM don't really have much to say about them. They've been pretty crazy, running pretty hot. Thursday after the bell, don't care about these names before the bell. Thursday after the bell, we got Amazon, Elf, Cloudflare, which is net, Affirm, Fortinet, which is cybersecurity, Pinterest. So the ones I really care about here are going to be probably Amazon, Elf, and Cloudflare. I've been getting into Cloudflare, as most of you know, pretty big um, position trading wise for me right now because I believe this name, CRM, Datadog, Snowflake, a lot of these names in the technology services and technologies as a package and SaaS companies, I believe they're about to have their NVIDIA um, NVIDIA moment with the next phase of AI. So I believe we're still early on these names, and I believe they're the next phase of AI with AI robots, RPA AI robots, um, just subscription as a service companies, and just making their margins go absolutely crazy through using AI robots, through really getting rid of as many employees as they possibly can, to replace them with AI and making their businesses as lean as possible, driving up margins and driving down more money to their to the bottom line, and just exploding their free cash flow. So that's my thesis about these names. I think it's the next phase of AI is technology services, and the software and the products behind everything is what's next for the AI phase. Amazon will be really key, and then Elf's been pretty beaten down. So if they report really well, I could see them spike higher. I think Amazon's about to have a big earnings. I think they're going to come in with some crazy earnings, crazy free cash flow after this, Christmas holiday break, um, and that quarter. And I believe they're just going to come in and just completely decimate earnings, and they will be on their way to 300 plus because I believe that they are actually undervalued. Besides that, don't really care about Friday, any of those companies. You got a Canopy Growth company. Crazy to see they're still even around. But yeah, that's earnings. That's the markets. That's what I'm seeing. If you like this video, if you appreciate these types of videos, they take me, obviously a decent bit of time to put together. I'd really appreciate if you hit the like button, subscribe, follow, and show some support for the content I'm putting out if you enjoy it. So I appreciate all of your guys' time. Hope you have a wonderful and amazing weekend, and I will catch you in the next one. See ya.